It's the Tuck and Tuck Show. Brought to you by Prestige Detailing. Take pride in your ride. The Arb at Tappan Square. Wings, sandwiches, smoothies, and more. Oberlin Weekly. Real Oberlin stories, real Oberlin people. Now let's welcome the hosts of Tuck and Tuck Show, Ahmad and Khalid.
Hey, Oberlin, welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. We've been away for a whole 5-6 days now. We're back again to do another episode. This is episode number 9. We got some guests coming from Oberlin City Council today. What's going on with you, man?
Well, before we open, I'd like to say happy birthday. It's my sister's birthday today.
Such day.
It's her birthday today.
I guess we shouldn't give her age out.
No, don't do that. And she calls me and talks about the show every week. It's like a 2-hour conversation about a 20-minute show.
Yeah, she gave me a whole lot of comments, man. Some of them are good.
Yeah, and then it was my mom's birthday on Saturday, and she turned 84. We can disclose her age.
Yeah, she don't care no more.
And she looks really good for, I hope I look good that good at 84.
Outstanding for 84. Man.
So she's still up and about, driving around every day, going to the casino, cooking.
Yeah, and gets around better than I do half the time.
Drinking Jack.
Yeah, she likes that single barrel.
Drinking Jack Daniels. The other thing I'd like to thank Robert Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I had a flat tire on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday I had a flat tire. And of course, I don't have a jack. I don't have anything. I have a spare tire, and that was it. So Robert came out. He had the jacked it up. He jumped underneath the truck. He cut the spare tire from underneath the truck with the bandsaw. And then he had a DeWalt. What are those things, Matt? What are they called?
Reciprocal saw or?
No. Impact
wrench.
He had impact. Zapped those on there and then because I left my blinkers on, the battery went dead. So we had to charge.
Jumper cables for you too, huh?
Yeah, then they all came over and played poker. So that was a kind of a crazy night. But every time when my uncle was alive, he always told me, he said, if you ever get in trouble, you need something, call Marvin. And Marvin, that's Robert's father. He's always helped me, and all the Jacksons are really nice. Robert, Sylvia, Marvin, Fella, Melinda, Nikki. They're all.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably if you go to Jackson line, we'd be here till next week.
Go to Jackson.
But the Jacksons and Oberlin. Yeah, and I know that they watch the show and they like the show. So that was, they're always very helpful. All of them are very helpful to me. And Matt gave us questions, and we'll actually use them this week.
The Cavs?
Yeah.
Cavs still winning?
Cavs, they play the Lakers tonight. LeBron comes back to town.
Yeah, and Lakers are actually looking better.
Yeah, Anthony Davis has been killing it. So we'll see how that works. I think the Lakers might get him tonight. They struggled with the Knicks the other day, but the Cavs are good at home.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that should be a good game. Matter of fact, that comes on at 7, so we're not going to stay here all day long.
Oberlin College girls basketball team is playing tonight, and they're actually pretty good this year.
I never followed any from.
Yeah, I usually don't follow them because they usually are terrible. But this year I think they're 5-1 or 5-2 right now.
I had to check them out. I know the high school is also playing Black River tonight, and there's a thing on here for Savannah McFarland, and she wants to get the word out to increase the city's awareness on the kids' sporting events, fundraising, volunteer opportunities, and up-to-date middle and high school events. So Black River tonight, and I know they played, like the 8th grade girls played Firelands yesterday, and they lost. But
yeah, I think they charge like $5 for the games. Even the junior high games now they charge.
Yeah, and then sometimes you have to pay online.
Oh, to get tickets?
Before you even get to the game. Everything is online now. It's not like the old days you can
just pay at
the door. Yeah, I think you could still pay at the door, but when we were kids, we had some people that stole a few rolls of tickets, and we just used those most of the time. I won't say any names.
I can almost guess.
I won't say any names.
Who the culprits were? Well, back then, those tickets were pretty hot.
Yeah, they were.
That's when they.
Oh yeah, when I was in school, they were very. And also on the sports, while we're on sports, I went to the Cavs game with one of our sponsors. Henry Smith took me to see the Cavs. We were up in the suite, and we had a great time. And I'll leave it at that. We had a great time, and I'll leave it at that.
What was going on in that suite?
I'll leave it at that.
If you were with Henry, who knows?
Yeah, but it was nice. The suites are nice.
Oh, it's always nice when you got a suite.
They had hot dogs and wings.
Well, you get to order whatever you want. Whoever owns that suite orders whatever they want as far as food is concerned.
Yeah.
It
was
nice.
It was owned by Cisco Foods.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think they provide a lot of food for everyone. So Henry took us down there, and it was great. I had a great time.
His supplier for food, huh?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, he went to the Rams, I guess, but I don't know. I don't think anybody really wants him.
Now, does anybody really care?
Well, they only got to pay him, I think, $1 million or something. He's all bound up still with the Browns in their contract. They're paying most of the money, so.
Yeah, he's getting paid for doing nothing.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I think because he played injured, I think that hurt his career. I think once he played injured, I think if he would have said that.
He wasn't injured when he was with the Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
He still sucked, so.
Well, but if you think about it, if he would have, after they lost to Kansas City in the playoffs, the next year, once he got injured, he should have just shut it down.
Yeah, he should have
stayed out. Then his last memories would have been like, oh, we lost in the playoffs, but when I come back, I'll be ready to go.
Right.
But playing hurt, he was terrible for the Browns the last year, and I don't think him and Stefanski got along that great either.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, he didn't look that great. I bet he hasn't played in 2 years,
yeah,
so I didn't expect a lot out of him.
He hasn't played. The rest of the team played good, though, but they weren't playing a great team.
Right.
So playing the Texans, it wasn't. They're 1-9. They're not good, but they scored on special teams and they scored on defense. The offense didn't score a touchdown.
No, they actually gave up 2 points on the safety.
Yeah, Nick Chubb didn't get out the end zone, but I think that was a bad play call. So
that's nothing new.
Yeah, they have some good play calls every once in a while. Also, Saturday was the parade. I didn't get to go because my tire was blown. But they said the parade was great. They said
a lot of people, man. I seen the video that Matt shot, and man, there was a ton of people down there.
Yeah, and they lit the Christmas tree.
I thought it was going to be bigger than that. I thought we had a huge tree.
Well,
it's decent size.
It's big. They paid a lot of money for that tree.
Yeah, they used to have a big tree right in front of Hall Auditorium when I was growing up. It used to be as high as the building was. It was huge.
I don't remember that.
Well, you weren't born, so.
Oh, I'll say that must have been a long time ago.
Oberlin's got money, man.
Yeah, but
they got lots of money.
What are they putting? But the last two parades they had, the Christmas parade and the Halloween parade, they're both good. And the city is always lit up really nice. I don't know what department for the city does the trees and all the decorations, but they always do a fantastic job.
Yeah, municipal lighting and stuff.
Yeah,
whoever does the electric.
that's right. I
they do it all. I see them hanging when I get off work at 6 in the morning. They're out there doing it. So
in the summer they do a good job with the plants and the flowers, and in the winter they do a good job with the lights.
Right.
And I always wonder, where do they plug those lights in at? Do they
think
have an outlet right by each tree?
Yeah, there's an outlet on the post, I believe.
It causes a lot of electricity.
Yeah, they're sucking up a lot of juice.
Yeah, my bill's not going down either.
No, and maybe talk to city council about bills and taxes.
Maybe we can get some money taken, expunged or something, whatever the word for that is.
Need an abatement on my taxes.
Yeah, abatement, something. We need a sponsor, like a free electrical sponsor. That'd be great.
For a whole year.
Yeah, we need a lot of sponsors. All right, we're going to wrap it up, and when we come back, we'll have Eboni Johnson and Elizabeth Meadows.
Happy birthday, sis.
Happy birthday.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by the Arb at Tappan Square.
Hello there, Oberlin. We're back. We got our guest here on the set. Tuck and Tuck is ready to go. We're here with Eboni Johnson and Elizabeth Meadows, 2 members of the City Council. Big time people, boy. All the things I need to know about my city now, I can find out. Why are my taxes so high? No, we're not good.
Because we need more people to move back into Oberlin to share the burden.
Is that really a problem with a lot of people leaving Oberlin?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I was just messing with you
our
guys.
population has
Dwindling, huh?
a little bit, yeah.
Well, I know with the school system, everything is going down. I was just wondering. So, first of all, are both of you guys from Oberlin?
No.
You're not from Oberlin?
Neither am I. Moved here in 2000 technically, I'm from Cleveland. I was born and raised in Cleveland, educated, but I lived in Shaker Heights for probably more than a decade.
What made you move to Oberlin?
My daughter, her husband moved
Family.
here, and so I moved here to be near the grandchildren.
That's a good reason.
I'm from Elyria.
Oh, that's Oberlin.
So I was.
That's
you know
Oberlin.
what? This is a true story. A few years ago, I was at the barbershop in Elyria, and I saw some guys that I went to high school with. And they're like, "Oh, Eb, haven't seen you forever. Where you live?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Oberlin." They're like, "That's a whole other planet." And I'm like,
No, it's not.
I laughed at them. I'm like, "It's just down the road." But I think, yeah,
That's the perception, though.
it is.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Elyria. I went to college at Oberlin, and I left for a while, 10 years and 1 day to be precise. And then I came back to work at Oberlin College.
Oh, what year did you graduate Oberlin?
1997.
I had to go through my system when I get to work tonight, see what kind of trouble you got into.
0.
Yeah, everybody got into some trouble at Oberlin. So what made you guys run for city council?
You first.
When I moved here, I wanted to get involved because I really didn't know that many people. I only knew my daughter and her husband
Oh,
and my grandchild.
okay.
I didn't know anybody in Oberlin. And originally I wanted to run for school board, but my neighbor, Ronnie Rembert, told me, "Why don't you run for council?"
That's because he was on council, didn't want to lose his seat.
Well, really, I ran for council, and much to my surprise, I was elected. You know, because I told him, I said, "People don't know who I am." And he said, "Oh, yeah, no, they don't know." But see, in the meantime, I had already been, I was serving on the cable board.
Okay.
And then I was working with Ruby Jones on the, what's the name of that group? Oberlin Community Scholarship Program. I was
Okay.
working with her. So I had met a few people that way. But I was quite surprised when I was elected.
Wow.
So I'm nosy, too. I like to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Where you live at.
So I figured the best way to find out what's going on is get involved. So,
And you get to meet a lot of people.
yeah, sort of.
Well, all the city members, and you got to come across a lot of people. Or being on city council, I would think. All the organizations and stuff that you have to deal with.
Well, yeah, you get to meet a lot of people. But I met more people in my part-time job after I was retired, and then took a job after I was retired. I worked in 3 different libraries, and that's where I met a lot of people. A whole lot of people.
Yay, library.
Oh, yeah. Because I worked in Elyria Public Library for maybe 4 or 5 years. Then I went to Lorraine Public Library for 8 years. Did I say 3? It was only two libraries. But anyway, I met a lot of people there. Through the city, working on city council, I've met a lot of local people. But the good thing was that my first year on council, the clerk of council, Belinda Anderson, suggested that I look into going to the National League of Cities. And I went to that. It's a national organization. You meet people from all across the country, all different city sizes and whatnot. Now, that was a real boon. Belinda, that was the best suggestion she ever made, because I got a chance to listen to how other cities were faring, some of the same problems we had, some solutions that I could bring back to the city. And so it's, I met a lot of people.
What made you run, Ebony?
Kind of the same thing. I'd been here since 2009. That's when I moved back from Columbus, Ohio, where I worked at the Ohio State University. But I moved back here, and for a long time, I wasn't involved in city government at all. And it was probably 2017. I mentioned to a friend of mine, like, "Hey, I think I want to get more involved in the city." So he recommended applying for a board or commission. So I applied to the Human Relations Commission, and I served there from 2018 to 2022 or 21. And I was chair of that commission for a while.
Okay.
So that was a lot of fun. But that was sort of my entree into city
City
government
council.
and politics. And so after that, some more friends last summer said, "Hey, you should run for city council." I'm like, okay. So I did.
It's an important position. I mean, it can probably be boring up there sometime, I'm sure.
No.
It's
No,
a very
not really.
it's a very important position, and a lot of people don't even realize it, how it affects your community,
Just to know what's happening and like who's sort of doing what.
Right.
And so it's a good way to get to know people, see what's going on, be involved. And then I always encourage people to come to city council.
Yeah.
If they have, questions or concerns, they can ask me. Sure, I'm happy to help. But I think it's important for people to have their own voices be heard.
Absolutely.
And so I always encourage people. I just did it today. Like someone asked me a question. I'm like, yeah, you should really come to the next council meeting and say that.
Yeah.
So that we can hear you, get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And then, people can hear your concerns in your voice, and they might have the same ones, right? And so I think it's really important to be involved and be seen.
I like to know where my money's going. That's why I watch. We're going to wrap up this first segment, and then we're going to come back. My brother's going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Perfect.
See you in about 2 minutes.
Hi, welcome to the Art. Thank you. Have a great day. Come again.
Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by The Arb at Tappan Square.
All right, we're back with Eboni Johnson and Elizabeth Meadows. So I wanted to know, what is the biggest problem facing the city of Oberlin right now?
Well, from my perspective, I believe that we really need to get more suitable housing in Oberlin. We have a lot of lots that are vacant, and what we're looking at is a way to bring in infill housing, so that instead of having a contractor come in and put a whole estate in, you have them build houses where you have the vacant lots. I think that's important. I think it's important also because when you have newer housing, you can attract more people to want to move here. A lot of our housing stock is very old. And when it's old like that, let's say people who work either at Oberlin College or any of the other places, or the industrial park, they're going to look around, and many of the workers, I guess, would assess whether or not they want to live in Oberlin or do the commute. So for me, that's a major thing, bringing more housing into Oberlin.
I wholeheartedly agree. And that's really one of the things that I thought about a lot when I was deciding to run for council, is how to help the housing situation in the city and have more of it that's affordable for regular people. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot of people who can afford $400,000 and $500,000 houses, but there was one around the corner from where I live that was recently on the market for about that much. And so, just attracting stuff that's affordable for people of modest means is really important. And that helps encourage people to stay here. I think there are people, my next door neighbor, for example, were renting a house, and the property owner was going to sell it for reasons I don't know. That family didn't buy the house, but they also couldn't find something that was appropriate for their needs. So they ended up moving to Lorraine. I think they're very happy, but I kind of wish they could stay in Oberlin, Yeah. And so I think having more housing available for people at a variety of pricing points, both for sale and for rent, I think would be really important to attracting people here who want to come, but also keeping people who want to stay.
That's correct. I agree.
All right, so since you're on city council, what is something you really love about the city? Because me and him, we love living here, and I think Matt does too, but what do you love about Oberlin?
Well, the fact that if you want to get involved in this community, you can do it. You don't have to jump through hoops. You don't have to pay your dues or anything. All you have to do is stand up and say, I want to
I
work.
want to help.
And that's the thing that helped make me feel more welcome when I moved here. Mm-hmm. The fact that I could join a committee. I could stand. I like to volunteer. Mm-hmm. In Cleveland, I have to tell you, and Cleveland's my hometown. I love it, and I do miss it. However, I won't name the organization, but I wanted to get involved, and I almost had to. You know, it's almost like hazing for a sorority or something. You know.
Wow.
So in Oberlin, I found out all you have to do is open your mouth, and the next thing you know, somebody's gonna snatch you.
Just raise your hand up, and hey, they'll take you.
And I think that's a good thing about this community. I don't know if it's true of every small community, but I love the fact that I can be a part of things. I can volunteer and find out at least a little bit about what's going on and who people are. So that's
Okay.
That's
What
my
about you,
answer.
Ms. Johnson? What do you love about the city?
Same thing. I think everyone is so welcoming, and I've been here 13 years. I still feel like I'm the new girl compared to lots of people that I've met who have been here,
Our whole lives.
right?
Well, I left for a little while, but
But just being kind of welcomed back into the city and able to do things like chair a board, run for council, get elected to council. But yeah, and there's so much to do here. There's always something happening, whether it's a concert, there's movies, there's a lovely winter festival that we just had last weekend. So there's always something to do.
and a lot of people don't actually look for anything to do, and they say, well, there's nothing to do in Oberlin. There's a lot to do if you just look around and keep up with the college is doing. College has concerts and everything else going on people don't go to. So
We have a world-class art museum
yeah,
that's free.
we got a world-class orchestra.
We do.
Yeah, and people don't never go to see
the
them.
singing and the art shows and the theater and dance productions. It's amazing.
Jazz, but we got a jazz band that is off the hook.
I didn't know about the jazz band.
Oh yeah.
Where do they play?
At the Finney Chapel. It's only like twice a year, I think.
Okay, I'll have to watch the schedule.
Yeah.
I like the cheap movie.
Oh,
They are very cheap, ain't they?
Okay, honestly, the Apollo plays first run movies and at a very reasonable price.
Like $4.
$4.
Well, I think it went up to $5.
Is it $5?
When I went to see Wakanda, it was $4.
Was it on a Monday?
I think so.
Okay, Monday's
Monday's
the cheap day.
cheap day.
So
I'm
you
going-
can save
cheaper
a
day,
dollar.
yeah.
But I mean, that's amazing because if you go other places, bigger cinemas, you're going to pay through the nose, and I mean, $20 won't get you in and snacks.
Right. No,
So,
it won't.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nice being in this city. When I moved here, my first couple of weeks, I was still working at RTA, and where I had been living, I lived on a main street in an very nice apartment. But I was used to my background noise. I could tune it out. It was always fire trucks, police cars, you name it. Okay, so I get home from work after I moved here. I'm laying on my bed, just kind of unwinding, and a guy who rides a motorcycle who lives on my street, Smith Street, around 6:30 every evening. He would go from his house and heading west. And then about an hour later, he'd come back, and I'm cracking up to myself. I'm thinking, this is the worst thing I had to put up with?
This is the only noise I hear all day.
Yeah, and the other thing is, in Oberlin, if you go out at night, you can see the stars.
Yeah.
I mean, and in Cleveland, you can't do that. So, a lot of good things about being here.
All the city lights, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, other than city council, you're retired, correct?
Oh, yeah. Supposedly, yes.
Now, before you retired, what was your occupation?
Oh, my gosh.
Which one? Besides the library. We know about the library.
Okay, I retired.
And RTA.
RTA, I was at RTA for 23 years.
Oh, so that was your major benefactor.
That was the most years I spent there. I actually started out working at Cuyahoga Community College when my daughter, who is the youngest of my three, she started kindergarten, and I started working at the Learning Center in Cuyahoga Community College, the main campus downtown. And I worked there, I think, 4 or 5 years, and then from there I went to RTA. And once I started working at RTA, I still kept a connection with Tri-C, so I taught some classes, taught some English courses and speech courses at Tri-C for about 3 or 4 years. And then, that's pretty much my employment. But at RTA, I had 6 different departments that I worked in. Very good experience. Learned an awful lot about Greater Cleveland because living on the east side, I knew about the east side, and I didn't know much about the west side. And one of my jobs, I think I was in this department for 10 years. I worked as a claims investigator, and that was fantastic because I had to, pick up my assignments in the morning and go out in the field and, the next day turn in my statements and whatnot. But I had a chance to go all over the city. Mm-hmm. And that was a great experience for me because I learned a lot more about what Cleveland was all about. Yeah. And then the jobs I already alluded to, after I retired, working at the libraries, that was fantastic for me because growing up, the library was my most favorite place in the world. And so I was riding around before I got a job. I was in Elyria, and I drove down Washington Avenue, and I saw the old library there, and I went inside. I saw, man, this is fantastic. So I asked for the director, and I asked her, I said, you got any openings? I'd like to work here.
Wow.
So, I've worked those few places, but I am curious, and I love meeting people, and I like learning new things. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break, and then when we come back, we'll ask Eboni what she does for a living.
People ask me all the time, Matthew, what's Oberlin Weekly? Well, let me show you. We have a big story coming.
Real Oberlin stories, real Oberlin people. Welcome back to the Tuck and Tuck Show. Today's guest is brought to you by the Arb at Tappan Square.
All right, we're back with the Tuck and Tuck Show, and we're here with Elizabeth Meadows and Eboni Johnson. And before we left, we were asking, Eboni, what do you do for a living?
I'm a librarian at the college. So my title is Outreach and Programming Librarian, and my job is really to help facilitate events, programs, activities that are held in the college library spaces. That's maybe half of my job. The other half, I'm a reference and instruction librarian, so that involves helping students and faculty sometimes learn how to use the library resources to do their research. So we do that, in classroom situations and one-on-one research appointments, sometimes by email. Sometimes people will see me walking around campus and say, hey, Ms. Eboni, I have a question. So all the ways to help students make the best use of our resources to get what they got to get done.
So you're at Mud Library?
I am.
Oh, okay.
It's technically the Mary Church Terrell Library.
Since when?
Since 2018. But the building is called
I
Mud
worked there and they
Center.
didn't even tell me that. I worked security there, so.
The building is Mud Center.
Right.
The library is called Mary Church Terrell Main Library.
Oh, my God.
Which was named after a fantastic, wonderful powerhouse alumna, Mary Church Terrell, who graduated from Oberlin in 1884.
First black woman, right?
First black woman to graduate
From
from
Oberlin. Yeah. I thought she was the first.
No.
Oh, okay.
You sure you work there?
I'm starting to wonder. I've been there almost 20 years, man. There's a lot of changes.
Sketchy.
Come to the library.
Yeah, you need to go to the library.
That's not one of my favorite places to
Well,
hang
you
out
need
on my days
You need
off.
to learn some stuff about the college.
I try to stay away from the college on my days off.
She has a great history, though.
Oh, she was a civil rights activist and
yeah.
women's suffrage
Right.
activism. She was the first honorary member of my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated. So yeah, she's a power. You should read her book. I think it's called A Colored Woman in a White World.
Okay, I'll check it out.
But if you Google Oberlin College, Mary Church Terrell, we have a wonderful digital exhibition about her life, her labor, her legacy.
All right. So, other than work, what do you guys do for fun? Because you got to have some fun in there. I know
She's
you're retired.
She's retired,
so you probably
she's
have
having
more fun
every
than
day.
anybody. Yeah, but what do you guys do for fun? Like, you're a DJ, right? In the spare time?
Yes, I have had a radio show on WOBC 91.5 FM, Oberlin College Community Radio. But the show is called R&B Redux. And so with my co-host, Farah Emeka, who is on the school board, we were playing R&B from all different time periods. We have a theme show every week, but our live programming stopped in the spring and hasn't quite started back up yet. So we're excited because we have some shows kind of lined up, ready to go whenever live programming resumes.
Ebony, that's on Friday nights?
Saturday nights.
Saturday nights.
At 8 o'clock, or
Okay.
that's the
Prime
time slot
time.
we had, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then they were going to do a mini season starting up like right after Thanksgiving, and we had a 2-hour show. But that hasn't started up yet, and I'm not sure it will now since this semester is almost over.
Yeah.
So do you do R&B from like now, the 90s, the 80s, or just the total history of
So
R&B?
our first show was 90s R&B. That was really great because, we were college classmates also, so that was kind of our era. But we did a show around, it was May. We did a tribute to Stevie Wonder because he's our favorite musical artist of all time, period. And then in April, we had one dedicated to Prince. And so we've got, themes. We did a show about mamas around Mother's Day.
Okay.
And so we've got some things that we hope to get back on the air pretty soon.
You got a favorite artist, Miss Meadows? You got a favorite time period? You listen to R&B?
I listen to everything.
Everything? You got a favorite artist?
Not really. I mean, okay.
You like a little everything.
Little everything?
I like a little of everything, but lately I went back to Ray Charles just before I think this was published after he died, but he had an album come out, if you still call them albums on
Album.
CDs.
Yeah.
It was him doing duets with about 10 different people. That's a fantastic album. I mean, it was great. And you could tell it was live because one of the artists showed up late.
You can hear him?
It was, I forget the guy's name, but anyway, the music was playing, and Ray Charles said, "Is he here yet?" And the guy came in singing. So it was interesting.
What a way to make an entrance,
I'm
though,
telling you,
right?
well, I'm sure that was the reason he did it, because he couldn't sing as good as Ray Charles. But in any event, it was, I like all of the rhythm and blues. I like, one of my favorite artists is Nina Simone. I know I'm dating myself, but I don't care.
No,
Nina
I know her.
Simone, Roberta Flack.
I like Roberta Flack.
Way back when, Nancy Wilson.
Donny Hathaway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Donnie's one of my
that.
favorites.
Yeah.
He makes the top 3
Yeah,
list.
I remember that era real well. I was little, but I remember. That's all my mom and dad would listen to.
And lately, I think one of my grandchildren introduced me to Sam Smith. I heard that man sing it. I said, "Oh my goodness, he is very good." And who was that other one? Oh, the grandkids have to bring me up to date because I'm still stuck back in the 80s and 90s. But I just love music. Period. And quiet as kept, I like some country music.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I was listening to a country music song in the car on the way here.
I like some classicals. I kind of grew up with classical music. Cleveland, the Cleveland schools used to be one of the best education systems, public education systems in the nation way back when I was a little kid. But what they did every year, they provided for the students to go to see the Cleveland Orchestra twice a year, in the fall and then in the spring. So I kind of got introduced to classical music that way.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just a part of me. And then when I was raising my children, I made sure that they all had music lessons. So again, getting that classical exposure. Right. So I just love music, period.
Yeah, that's how I am. I like classical too, some of it. With the orchestra playing it.
Oh yeah.
Couple glasses of wine, go see them. Yeah.
And Aretha Franklin singing opera with a background of orchestra playing. Have you seen her?
I've never seen her do it.
Oh, it is fantastic. That talented woman, sitting down. Well, she wasn't at the piano that time, but she came out and sang, and is it called an aria? I don't know what it's called because I don't know opera.
Yeah.
But I watched her, and I thought, oh, my gosh, she is so fantastic.
Yeah, I've never seen the opera. That's one thing I haven't done.
Well,
With Aretha doing it, I probably would like to see it. But the rest of them, I was like, I don't think I can deal with it.
Ed Sheeran, you know his name? Sheeran, Ed Sheeran.
I've heard of him. I'm getting older too, so I don't know all the younger
He
people.
sang a duet with a guy who is an opera singer, Andre.
Bocelli?
Yes. Girl? That is fantastic.
I haven't heard that, but I will look it up.
Oh, and he also sang it with, shoot, what's her name? Okay, never mind. I looked it up on, it must have been on YouTube. And all the duets that he had sung, that same song. But man, it was fantastic. Anyway,
All right.
yes, I like music.
We're going to get ready to wrap up. But before we go, Cavs play the Lakers tonight. You a basketball fan?
Absolutely.
Who you taking? Cavs or Lakers?
I'm going to go with the Cavs.
Okay. You a fan?
I don't watch basketball that much anymore, but hold on. Give me a
She's got an
minute.
opinion on the game tonight.
I don't have an opinion on the game. But I used to collect basketball cards. I used to watch more than I do now, but I'm going with the Cavs.
Okay. I'm taking the Lakers.
Well, you can have the Lakers, but
I'm a Cavs fan, but I think tonight the Lakers are going to beat them.
well, that might happen. But
Okay.
I'm pulling for the Cavs because that young team is starting to gel.
They
they're
are.
good.
They're
They
doing
are
good.
starting to gel. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I love those players. And that new addition,
Donovan Mitchell.
yes.
He's very good.
Oh, he is excellent. He is excellent.
Yeah.
You got a couple of injuries right now, so I'm not sure that's how gonna. how
You're a
that's gonna
hardcore
happen.
fan.
Yeah, you are a
You're
fan.
a hardcore fan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been watching. I can
Oh,
tell.
yeah.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up. I'd like to thank you ladies for coming out. You're great. You
Yeah.
did a great job.
This
And-
has been
Thank you.
fun.
Just like sitting on the couch.
Yeah. So before we go, I'd like to thank Zay for doing the music, Prestige Detailing, the ARB,
Oberlin Weekly.
and Oberlin Weekly.
That you forget every week.
I always forget Oberlin Weekly. So and Oberlin Weekly is really good. So
Yes, it is.
get a chance to watch Oberlin Weekly. Check it out. Matt does a great job. See you next week.
Happy birthday, sis, once again.